On May 15th, 2021, 4-year-old Cash Gernon was in his bed sleeping in his Dallas, Texas home when this man on the screen right here, 18-year-old Darian Jones, broke into the back of his home, went to his room, and took him. Video surveillance not only shows Darian entering the residence by way of their back door, but there was a baby monitor in Cash's room that shows Darian picking Cash up while he was sleeping, walking out of the room with him, and the same surveillance footage that caught Darian entering the home by way of that back door captures him on camera leaving the home with Cash in his arms. Now, just before 7 a.m. the next morning, Cash's mom wakes up and notices that Cash is not in the home. She calls police immediately and they began investigating. Authorities ultimately found Cash's body on Saddle Ridge Drive, a neighborhood in southwest Dallas, Texas, about 8 blocks from his home. He was laying deceased in a puddle of blood with multiple stab wounds to his body. Authorities didn't just obtain surveillance footage from inside and outside of Cash's residence, but they also obtained footage from neighbors and people nearby as well. This is how they were able to find a path of travel for this guy and find him ultimately at his mother's house. They obtained a search warrant for this home and they collected an Adidas zipper hoodie, a pair of shoes, and a pair of dark colored sunglasses from his bedroom, and they sent them to the lab for testing. All 3 of those items came back as being positive for having Cash's blood on them. Darian was taken into custody and charged with capital murder, but was declared incompetent to stand trial by the judge. It wasn't until years later, at the beginning of 2025, when Darian's competency was said to have been restored after he was receiving treatment in a facility that he was kept in. But get this, right before jury selection was set to take place on Monday, October 6, 2025, Darian ended up taking a plea deal. He pled guilty to a lesser charge of murder in exchange for the DP to be taken off the table. Now, part of the reason that he took this plea deal was because his defense team was planning to use the insanity trick at trial. However, with the mounds of evidence against this guy and the fact that 3 doctors reported that they do not believe that Darian qualifies for insanity, given the fact that he knew he needed to hide the weapon that he used to take Cash's life, and the fact that he knew to avoid cameras in the neighborhood, so he was taking a different path. They say that he knew and was aware of everything to do, and he was thinking very clearly at the time. So they realized that they wouldn't be able to use the insanity defense at trial and realized that he needed to take this plea deal. So now, instead of getting the DP, Darian is sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. When Darian's defense attorney was asked if Darian told him why he committed this crime against baby Cash, he told him it was because the voices told him to do it. He said that the voice told him that Cash was special and that if he took his life, he would get superhuman powers. At Darian's sentencing, Trevor, who is Cash's father, stated that his son's death has reduced him to a fraction of his former self. He said that he would have given his life to defend Cash's. He said that he was initially in favor of the DP for Darian, but his son's death wasn't painless or humane, and instead he wants Darian to suffer every moment behind bars, and he wants him to live a full life behind bars, unhappy and miserable. So what do you guys think? Is justice really served for this 4-year-old boy? If this man is eligible for parole after 30 years, I just don't think that there should ever be parole offered for someone who violently takes another person's life, especially a child's. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.